Oh, and you're gonna love the all-day echo chamber.
I think that'll have to wait.
Hello, Zuko here.
Yo, what's good, y'all? We're not only going to talk about one of my favorite cartoons of all time, if not probably my favorite cartoon of all time. We also going to talk about one of my favorite characters of all time, bro. My boy Zuko. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Bro, first off, this boy Zuko has the craziest, most insane writing out of any show in general I've watched, bro. Like, his character arc is crazy. Like, I've seen other shows try and copy the Zuko formula, which is what I'm gonna call it, because I feel like he just does it so well. I don't think any character encapsulates what Zuko went through and his entire like transformation from being someone who's super driven, super cocky, and selfish and conflicted, on this person who's just super humble. He wants to help people, and overall it just becomes an amazing person. Like that, his character arc is just crazy, bro. Like I could go in crazy detail about his character arc. Actually, let's just do that, bro. That's exactly what I'm going to do for this video. I'm gonna go over like each section, which is each book of the Avatar, and what I think is like his most in-depth, like, you know, transformation for each arc. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. So Zuko at the beginning of the show is just this very ruthless, very driven, like, I gotta capture the Avatar to restore my honor. Like, and people be like mocking him for this. And mainly Azula, but anyways, he's just this guy that is an unstoppable force to the Avatar's wall. And it's just this constant cat and mouse game between him trying to capture the Avatar, him trying to find the Avatar to restore his honor, so he can get that honor back from his father that he lost whenever he got his scar. And this whole part of the show made him very ferocious. Like, he's a very like physical, brute strength type of firebender, and he focuses less on technique and, you know, the power of his firebending, and he relies more on his own willpower and strength. Like, he relies on himself, and this kind of reflects in his physique. His physique at the beginning of the show is like, he's super built. When he's fighting Zhao, bro, like, and don't get me wrong, Zuko is not afraid to swing on his own people. Like, he fights Zhao, and this dude is ripped, bro. Like, you would have thought he was Spider-Man or something, bro. But like, he's just, his fighting style and his drive is very reflective in himself as a character, as he just wants his honor back, and he just wants to be able to go back home and receive that love from his father that his father really never gave him as a child. But we gonna get into that later. With the choices that he makes in season 1, you can obviously see he's like beginning to become more conflicted, especially through things shown in season 2. And one of my favorite episodes that highlights this is bro, this episode gotta by far be one of my favorite episodes in Avatar as a whole, bro. This episode delves into a huge breakdown of Zuko's mental state at the time, while also giving you just a separate storyline apart from the main storyline that's happening altogether. Like, this is a Zuko-centric episode. You get flashbacks in this episode. You get in, like, in-depth how Zuko processes the world in this episode. You get him basically having like a little protege for a second in this episode. Like, so much happens. It's insane. It's insane. I gotta go like step by step of how good this episode is. As y'all saw, it starts out with Zuko being super hungry because he's been living the rough life of a refugee, having no food and now no water for days on end. And he can't bring himself to take food from a family to be. And that's so deep also exemplifying how far his morals really go, how far he'll go to his like lengths of survival. Even later in this episode, you see that he never wants anything given to him. And you kind of see shadows of this in season 1, but you really see this in this episode as he's offered a meal and he's offered dinner by this super nice family because he was different. He like stood up to the guards and stuff. He's different from everybody else. He's not going like, it's still Zuko at the end of the day, bro. That's Fire Prince, Fire Lord. Let me not even say Fire Prince, bro. Fire Lord Zuko. He's not gonna take nothing from anybody. So he automatically gains the trust and gains the likeness of this family, and they offer him a meal. But my boy says no. And he only says this because his pride is too strong, as when the wife, genius wife by the way, sets up a scenario to where he's working for the food that he's getting, he accepts the offer because she knows that he's just too prideful to take things from people. He will steal, he will ravish, he'll go out of his way to take things from people, but he'll never just let somebody give something to him. He doesn't have the mindset yet of just accepting grace from other people. And I think that alone is super deep, bro. Hey, but late at night though, this kid just randomly jacks my boy's swords. And the thing is, he's not even mad. He understands that he's just a young kid. He's just trying to, find his own way and whatever. So he actually starts to teach him how these swords work together in unison and how they're two parts of one whole. And as he says this, he puts the swords up to his face, separating his face into his scarred half and then the unscarred half, which are his two parts of his one whole, bro. Which I think is insane. Showing that, bro, think about this. This is supposed to be a kid's show. How does this guy have such good writing, bro? This is genuinely insane. And then later on, the guards come back talking about we finna arrest that boy because he was talking crazy. He be playing pranks on us. And then at the end of the episode, Zuko ends up standing up to these guards like it's nothing, bro. This Fire Lord Zuko we talking about. No glaze. But anyways, he ends up standing up to these guards, but he fails to do so without firebending. And once they figure out that he's a firebender, it's up. Which I think is entirely crazy, because all this time they knew that he was not that he wasn't a threat. And I feel like that's low-key benderist or something, bro. I get what the firebenders did and what the Fire Nation did, but obviously he's not a threat if he doesn't. Oh, that made me so frustrated. I'm just facing personal qualms with that moment in this episode, because they really just regretted giving this man a meal, giving this man a place to sleep, all because he was a firebender, even though he was willing to protect them from the guards, the antagonists of this episode. And then he just leaves. The kid, he gave his knife that Uncle Iroh gave him to the kid, and then the kid was like, I don't want that knife anymore, it's a firebender's knife. I was like, dang, this is sad. This is probably the most emotional episode to me, or one of the most emotional episodes. I won't say it's the most, but it's super emotional for no reason, bro. This is crazy. I'm watching this and as a kid, and I'm like, dang. But he just constantly feels this conflict. But I think this episode is just a great point in which he's at peak conflict. He doesn't understand what to do because his own people reject him. The people that aren't of his own people reject him. And he just honestly doesn't know what to do until Iroh gives him this legendary talk, bro.
It's time for you to look inward and begin asking yourself the big questions. Who are you? And what do you want?
Now, if this ain't the most impactful Uncle Iroh speech in the show, I don't know what is, bro. Because Zuko, even after this speech, he's still conflicted and he's still making the wrong decisions. Up until the point to where, he confronts his father. I think him confronting his father in the third book and him joining Team Avatar really showed the shift in how he was. And we can show that right now, honestly. Bro, I don't even want to talk that much. This whole scene between Zuko and Ozai, it's just...
First of all,
it speaks for itself.
It was Azula who took down the Avatar, not me.
Why would she lie to me about that?
Because the Avatar's not dead. He survived.
What?
In fact, he's probably leading this invasion. He could be on his way here right now.
Get out! Get out of my sight right now if you know what's good for you.
That's another thing. I'm not taking orders from you anymore.
You will obey me, or this defiant breath will be your last.
Think again. I am going to speak my mind, and you are going to listen. For so long, all I wanted was for you to love me, to accept me. I thought it was my honor that I wanted, but really, I was just trying to please you. You, my father, who banished me just for talking out of turn. My father, who challenged me, a 13-year-old boy, to an Agni Kai. How can you possibly justify a duel with a child?
It was to teach you respect.
It was cruel, and it was wrong.
Then you've learned nothing.
No, I've learned everything, and I've had to learn it on my own. Growing up, we were taught that the Fire Nation was the greatest civilization in history, and somehow, the war was our way of sharing our greatness with the rest of the world. What an amazing lie that was. The people of the world are terrified by the Fire Nation. They don't see our greatness. They hate us, and we deserve it. We've created an era of fear in the world, and if we don't want the world to destroy itself, we need to replace it with an era of peace and kindness.
Your uncle has gotten to you, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. After I leave here today, I'm gonna free Uncle Iroh from his prison, and I'm gonna beg for his forgiveness. He's the one who's been a real father to me.
Oh, that's just beautiful. Maybe he can pass down to you the ways of tea and failure.
But I've come to an even more important decision. I'm going to join the Avatar, and I'm going to help him defeat you.
Really? Since you're a full-blown traitor now and you want me gone, why wait? I'm powerless. You've got your swords. Why don't you just do it now?
Because I know my own destiny. Taking you down is the Avatar's destiny. Goodbye.
Coward! You think you're brave enough to face me, but you'll only do it during the eclipse. If you have any real courage, you'll stick around until the sun comes out. Don't you want to know what happened to your mother?
What happened that night?
My father, Fire Lord Azulan, had commanded me to do the unthinkable to you, my own son. And I was going to do it. Your mother found out and swore she would protect you at any cost. She knew I wanted the throne, and she proposed a plan in which I would become Fire Lord, and your life would be spared. Vicious, treasonous things that night. She knew the consequences and accepted them. For her treason, she was banished.
So she's alive.
Perhaps. Now I realize that banishment is far too merciful a penalty for treason. Your penalty will be far steeper.
Bro, my boy Zuko redirecting that lightning? Bro. Bro, he did so many things right. He found out who he was, found out what his destiny was, understood that, you know, what he's been doing for the past year, hunting down the Avatar, has kind of been pointless because his father's always going to think the same, and he don't want that life for himself or for the world. So he going to switch up on his dad, make him sit down and listen to his plan, bro. And then he executes his plan. Everybody's on board pretty much except for Katara. But then one day he's like, shoot, I'm gonna have to just get her on board? Say less. We finna go find who killed your mom. And then they got a whole episode together, and he's training Aang, and everybody goofing off, not taking this seriously. Talking about some, oh, we just gonna defeat the Fire Lord next summer. My boy Zuko said, no, we're defeating the Fire Lord this summer. What are you talking about? It's happening this summer, bro. Like we're killing that man. And Aang's like, but I don't want to kill the Fire Lord. But my GOAT Zuko does not care. And he's just the GOAT for so many reasons. Not only because of his growth as a character, but just as a person, the way he grew throughout the show. Like, if Zuko would have got the shot at Ozai before, he definitely would have killed him in that scenario. But now, he's so mature and so mentally intelligent, like mentally and emotionally intelligent, that he understands that it's not his place to kill the Fire Lord, and that it's not his place to decide the Fire Lord's fate when it's all about Aang. Well, they could have really did that to, like, you know, prolong the show, but I'm thinking it's a concept of his writing. I think his writing is phenomenal. I don't think any cartoon character really is written to the lengths of Zuko at all. Like, I can't think of not one. If y'all got some, put them in the comments. But this is why Zuko, Fire Lord Zuko, is the GOAT to me, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. I really hope y'all liked this video. I really liked making this video. And I'll see you on the next one. Peace.